Hey up internet, and welcome back to On the Sofa Live. If you're new, do subscribe and hit the bell icon to stay in the loop. Okay, with me this time is Godless Scummer, aka Jeff. So, Jeff, why don't you introduce yourself and tell people where they can find you, etc.
Ahoy, my name is Jeff, aka Godless Scummer. That is the name of my Godless Scummer is the name of my YouTube channel. I have recently reappeared on YouTube after a bit of a hiatus, and yes, I come on and talk about stuff, mainly sometimes like atheist topics, bit of philosophy, that sort of thing. You know, I'm just a good all-round bullshitter, and yeah, come and check me out if you feel like it.
Okay, cool. And you've got quite a decent singing voice as well.
Oh yeah. Do you know why I did that this evening? I did because I released it as a short on YouTube as well as
Yeah.
I came across a video of Jordan Peterson trying to sing the Bruce's Philosopher's song, and I thought, I can't sing, but I can do better than that. So I thought I would. I thought I would just demonstrate that no matter how bad my version is, Jordan Peterson's version would be worse.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's got to be true. Yeah, I thought it was quite good actually. Your version, I mean.
Well, I am proud that I can sing all the lyrics to the Bruce's Philosopher's song and not need them in front of me. I am quite proud of that. So,
how long did it take you to learn that off by heart?
Not long actually, but not long. But I mean, like I said, I've recently become quite interested in philosophy as a topic over the last year or two. I mean, I'm still, I'd say a newbie really, but there's lots of people in the community way more versed than I am. But it's an interesting journey, and you know, it's been an interesting journey I've been on. So
yeah, cool. Anyway, thanks for joining. Much appreciated.
yeah, no worries.
Let's.
I don't know if I can stay for the whole stream, but I'll certainly stay here for a little while, and let's just dive into some topics if you want, Mike. You know.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Brilliant. Let's dive right in. So let's start with the first segment. Okay. This really burns my ass. All the trigger warnings for this one.
Oh boy, what am I about to watch?
Israeli. Oh, hang on. I'll start that again. This article is from The Guardian. Israeli security minister stirs diplomatic outrage with flotilla activist abuse video. Far-right figure Itamar Ben-Gvir shares footage of himself taunting bound international detainees. Have you seen this?
I haven't. No, I'm always a little wary when about commenting online anywhere about like anything to do with Israel Palestine, because it almost feels like anything you say could be the wrong thing. But it kind of comes to a point where it's like you just can't ignore what the fuck Israel's doing anymore, you know. It's so
yeah, and this was blatant as well. The article goes on. Israel's far-right national security minister, Itamar Ben-Gvir, has sparked a diplomatic crisis by publishing footage of Israeli security forces abusing international activists who were detained as they tried to sail to Gaza with aid. The 3 activists were taken to hospital as a result of Israeli violence, lawyers representing the group said. They were subsequently discharged. Dozens of others have suspected broken ribs, resulting in breathing problems. The team reports systematic violations of due process and widespread physical and physiological abuse by Israeli authorities, the rights group Abdallah said in a statement. There were a large number of complaints of extreme violence. Ben-Gvir's video drew a rapid and furious response from countries whose citizens were on board the boats, including the UK, Canada, Germany, the Netherlands, Spain, Ireland, Australia, and New Zealand, in many cases from the top of government. Do you know who's been silent about this?
Well, I would imagine for a start, most of the British. I'm actually surprised that even the Guardian, because most of the British media would be silent about this. I'm going to say our good friend Mr. Keir's probably not said a lot about this.
No, he's been silent. He's been absolutely silent about this. He hasn't really said any. I don't think he said anything about it.
Well, it would mean taking a position, which is something he struggles to do.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yvette Cooper has said something, but we're going to get to that in a bit. We'll get to that in a bit later.
Spooky's taking notes upon me, so I've got to be very careful what I say in this bit because, you know, he might. If I just say that, you know, genocide is wrong, you know, he might note that down as me being an anti-Semitic. So,
All right,
yeah,
you may get put on a list.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I've seen some people on X and on Threads posting caricatures of Ben-Gvir as a pig, and I think that is, if it's not borderline, if it's not anti-Semitic, it's certainly borderline.
Yeah, you're on very shaky ground there, even if you're being charitable, you know.
Yeah, because that is certainly, I mean, depicting a Jewish person as a pig, that is certainly an anti-Semitic trope. And I just think that when we're criticizing the Israeli government, we need to be careful that we don't go into anti-Semitic territory.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's I have seen that line crossed a few times, and it's I mean, obviously this caused a bit of an issue within the Labour Party a few years ago. Now, I mean, obviously a lot of the, should we say, allegations of anti-Semitism were aimed at shutting down any criticism of Israel within the Labour Party, but there were some things I definitely saw that did cross that line, though, as well.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate when that happens, because the politicians and the mainstream media and the right-wing press will accuse us of being anti-Semitic if we speak up against what the Israeli government is doing to the Palestinian people.
Yeah,
as it is.
This is why I don't like the definition of anti-Semitism that the Labour Party adopted, because I don't think any definition of anti-Semitism that includes the state of Israel and its nature is valid, in my opinion. because I can separate the two, and you know, and hey, I can tell you now, there are a lot of Jewish people and a lot of rabbis who can, you know, will separate the two. And I mean, one of the best jokes I ever heard was from a rabbi was saying about Moses. He said, if only he'd turned right instead of left, he said, we could have had the oil and we'd have just let the Palestinians have the milk and honey, you know. But
yeah. But so yeah, we need to be careful that we don't stray into anti-Semitism.
Yeah, it is such a fine line. I mean, and the thing is, it is one of those things that, I mean, I think if anyone is, a lot of people will say maybe a little pro what Israel is doing, we would immediately be accused of anti-Semitism, but I wouldn't take that thing very seriously. But as I said, I have seen people who have definitely crossed that line as well.
Yeah.
Because this was a big issue in the Labour Party when Jeremy Corbyn was the leader. And yes, a lot of the cries of anti-Semitism were an attempt to shut down criticism of Israel, but I definitely did see an awful lot of things that were said that crossed that line.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The article goes on. The US ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, one of the country's staunchest allies, described Ben-Gvir's behavior as despicable and said the minister had betrayed the dignity of his nation. The video includes images of dozens of men and women kneeling in rows with their foreheads to the ground and their hands zip-tied behind their back. Ben-Gvir posted it on social media accounts with the caption, "Welcome to Israel," in English. He appears waving an Israeli flag, mocking and taunting the detainees, including shouting, "The people of Israel live," in the face of one bound man. And we've got some footage here.
Well, I'm going to say something. Is this the Mike Huckabee?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to just say something. If Huckabee is like on the right side of history, then you know you fucked up.
Yeah, exactly.
Free Palestine!
שקט. טובה. ברוכים הבאים לישראל, אנחנו בעלי הבית. ככה צריך. ישראל חי. ישראל חי.
זיכוי, כל המטרה כאן זה לראות שאין אנשים בתהליך.
לא להתרגש מהצעקות שלהם, לא להתרגש. הם באו עם הרבה גאווה, כגיבורים גדולים. תראי איך הם נראים עכשיו, תסתכלי. תראי איך הם נראים עכשיו. לא גיבורים ולא כלום, תומכי טרור. אני אומר לראש הממשלה נתניהו, תן לי אותם לעוד הרבה זמן. תן לנו אותם בבתי הכלא של המחבלים, ככה זה צריך לראות.
Yeah. But as terrible as that is,
yeah. What would possess you to post that on social media? But
well, in my opinion, I think it's because for too long, for the best part of 3 years, our government and the American government have been allowing Israel to get away with their crimes.
It's not just the last 2 or 3 years. This has been going back decades, honestly. It's like how many like UN resolutions has Israel violated? You know, bear in mind that violation of 2 resolutions was the justification for the war in Iraq from Tony Blair back in the day, and it was like, you know, and Israel had violated over 60, and that was back then.
Yeah.
So God knows what they've done now.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the reason he feels emboldened to post this online is because he's been getting away with so much for for so long.
Yeah.
And now he feels invincible.
Well, this is the thing. It's like, what is the response from the UK and the US going to be? Like a strongly worded letter at most.
Yeah, exactly.
It's. I'm definitely. There's an awful lot of like yes minister quotes I can think of right now to describe. That. So.
Yeah. Yeah. The article goes on. Italy's Prime Minister, Giorgia Meloni, said the images were unacceptable and demanded the release of all Italian citizens involved, along with an apology for the mistreatment and display of total contempt toward the Italian government. I mean, again, if you pissed off Giorgia Meloni, you fucked up.
Come on, and she's actually taken a position, and where the hell is Keir Starmer?
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to leave the article there because it's quite a long one.
But I think that's a little bit. It's a little bit bad when the PM of Italy is taking a better position than our Prime Minister, who's obviously not taking a position at all. Which seems to be Keir Starmer's MO. I know that. It's like he's a great example of what Tariq Ali calls the extreme centre.
Yeah. And I'm going to share Yvette Cooper's response to this and read some of the comments on X.
Okay.
Because it's very telling. Yvette Cooper said this: "I am truly appalled at the video posted by Israeli Cabinet Minister Ben-Gvir taunting those involved in the global Samud flotilla. This violates the most basic standards of respect and dignity in the way people should be treated. We are in touch with the families of a number of British nationals involved to provide them with consular support. We have demanded an explanation from the Israeli authorities and made clear their obligations to protect the rights of our citizens and all those involved." My question is this: where was the outrage when during if I can get the words out. My question is this: where was this outrage against Israel on their genocidal and war crime? And sorry, I'll start that sentence again. It's kind of got away from me. My question is this: where was the outrage against Israel when they were committing genocide and war crimes against the Palestinian people? That's my question. That's what I want to know. And here are some of the replies. Jonathan Cook said, UK Foreign Secretary Yvette Cooper is incensed by Itamar Ben-Gvir's public abuse of international activists for showing solidarity with Palestinians in Gaza. That's the same Yvette Cooper who changed UK law to jail British activists who show solidarity with Palestinians in Gaza.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Good point. That's a good point.
I'm going to say that because I've had some experience in the past with this. With some, there. I think the whole thing with it almost was like people who the Israel-Palestine debate in a sense with there, and I hate to sort of say this, but there's something a little insidious about some of the Zionist groups I've come across.
Yeah.
I mean, back in the day, like one year I was at my trade union conference, and the Trade Union Friends of Israel were there, as well as a Palestine Solidarity campaign table were allowed there, and the Trade Union Friends of Israel, they kind of portray themselves as a sort of being a group that is there trying to build bridges between like Arabs and Jews within the region and so on. They saw the Palestine Solidarity campaign and they immediately wrote up and put out this bit of literature started going around our conference that was just plain out racist against Palestinians.
Yeah.
And I remember, like myself and a few other people's got a hold of a copy of this, and we all cornered the then General Secretary of our union about this at the time, and saying, we want them out of there. We don't want them. We don't want them here.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's this. So this. But they put on this quite happy, but it's this, they put on a lot of quite good, like happy, clappy sort of face and whatever. But there's something very insidious about this and this is this has been a bit of a thing with, should we say, the pro-Israel, pro-Zionist thing within that's within the British left, or within the broad British left. I would probably better to say, really, but
yeah. Farouk says this: "Oh, please, your flagship prescription of a protest group was ruled unlawful by the High Court. You were advised not to author an article by the CPS in case it prejudices the case. You did it anyway. Spare us this faux shock." Asa Winstanley said, "You did this. You enabled him. Own it. The blood is on your hands." And Mukhtar said, "This is who your government supports."
Yeah, no arguments from me.
Yeah.
No arguments from me whatsoever.
All very good points. So all this faux outrage from Yvette Cooper and other members of our government, all this outrage from from Yvette Cooper, where was it? Where was it for the best part of 3 years, when all the war crimes were happening against Palestinians in Gaza? But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Okay, that's the end of that segment.
That's us branded as anti-Semites for the rest of our lives.
But yeah, probably. But I'm actually Jewish, or at least part Jewish on my dad's side.
That doesn't necessarily exclude you from it, though, because I've heard them call a friend of mine like an anti-Semitic, like, and this friend of mine happens to be the niece of the famous scientist Rosalind Franklin, who was Jewish.
Okay.
So but yeah, I've heard them call her an anti-Semite, like she is Jewish.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And people call the only Jewish leader of a political party in this country, Zach Palensky, an anti-Semite.
Yeah. And at the same time done like Jewish caricatures of the Julius Stryker would have been proud of, quite frankly, about him.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, let's move on to the next segment.
Okay, yeah. So we've got the light-hearted stuff out of the way, so we're going to get to serious topics now.
Something like that, yeah.
Mm.
Let's say, okay, this one is, well, we'll see. Michael Deacon wrote a story for the Telegraph with the headline, "Should we ban the unemployed from voting?"
There's a simple answer to that: no.
Yes. I mean, should we put all the paws in the wood chipper?
Mm.
That's what he may as well be asking.
Yeah.
Should we send all the paws to workhouses? Unfortunately,
yeah, pretty much.
Unfortunately, the article itself is behind a paywall, and I'm one of the paws that he wants to put in the wood chipper, so I can't read it. But
yeah, well, I've been on point of principle. I wouldn't subscribe to the Daily Telegraph anyway, but I mean, the Daily Telegraph's like a weird. Actually, it's kind of a weird newspaper in a way that I give them the credit. They actually do some very good investigative journalism at times. Like some of the journalism is good, but but some of the commentary is bloody awful.
Yeah. I mean, this is just hate porn.
Yeah.
But I haven't got the article.
This is like, I mean, this is basically this is the sort of social attitude that sadly it still exists within Britain, which made the Jeremy Kyle show so bloody popular for 15 years on British TV, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Demonizing the unemployed and the poor.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you've read I've got a copy of it up there, a book called Chavs by Owen Jones, which is the subtitle and the sort of title under that is Chavs, the Demonization of the Working Class by Owen Jones.
I've read it, yeah.
Yeah. I've got a copy of it up there. It's but off of my shelf, I'm actually looking at it right now. But yeah, that's just this. It's just sort of just in the headline of that alone. That's kind of, you can kind of know the spirit behind it.
Yeah, it's a good book actually.
Mm.
Jennifer Jenkins 3 said this. She said, "Are there no prisons? Are there no workhouses? God forbid you ever become disabled or can't work. For fuck's sake, we have to divorce value from financial outcomes and productivity."
Yep. I mean, you'd actually, that shouldn't even be like a particularly radical thing to say in 2026 either. It's like, you'd like to think, I actually kind of at one time would like to think we were past this stuff. But
yeah. Kimmy Franks said, "Wonder if the unemployed count as people that live off investments, inheritance, pensions." Because people forget the state pension is a benefit as well.
Yeah. No matter if you've paid into it your whole bloody life.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, this is the thing. I mean, I was out of work 2 years ago for like 3 months, and yes, I claimed unemployment benefit. I got called a scrounger in that time, and I'm like, hold on, I've been paying into the system for like 25 years.
Yeah.
I've fallen on hard times. Isn't this kind of what this thing was supposed? Isn't this is what thing was supposed to be for?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I've been unemployed since the pandemic. I was made redundant during the pandemic, and I've been struggling
Just got to go. I keep talking. I'm just got to go off for. Be back shortly.
Okay, fine. Yes, I've been unemployed for 5 years since the pandemic, since I was made redundant, and I've been struggling to get back into work ever since. And I work hard to try to apply for jobs. I apply for at least 2 jobs every day. You know, I'm spending most of the day looking for work. I'd love to have a job. And you're going, and what? You're going to penalize me and people like me in a similar situation? And, you know, just because for one reason or another, we can't get a job? That's discrimination. That's a horrible way to think. PC Fig said, and the Deformed Party wants women to stay at home. I think I'm starting to understand their big plan now. Rev Gray 63 said, the right-wing press mocked Neil Kinnock, but he was spot on in this speech, still applies today. And he's referring to Neil Kinnock's famous I Warn You speech in 1983, and he's provided a link to the video. Neil Martin says, seriously? The Telegraph are now using rage bait? That's basically what this headline is. It shows zero intelligent thoughts. Positively, Sarah C. says, so if I'm made redundant and can't get a new job because I'm 50-plus-year-old woman who employers think I'm invisible, I should be punished and treated like I'm not capable of voting as well? And Jennifer Jenkins 3 replies, pretty much, so awful, isn't it? To which she replies, meh, idiots. Beth Young, 1729, says, on that basis, one would also ban all pensioners and overseas people from voting. Basically, anyone who isn't paying national insurance. The Telegraph wouldn't like the result. Richard Cohen, author, says, the unemployed. Does that mean people whose income comes entirely from investments and land? Because that's not a job. Og David says, should we ban people who write fascist crap in the Telegraph from breathing? And there are many other comments of a similar nature. But I think this is just rage bait. This is just rage porn. But let me know your thoughts about all this in the comments. I see 3 joggers.
Am I back?
Yes, you're back.
Sorry, I just try to be using StreamYard on the mobile. It kind of keeps kicking me out, but yes, I caught bits and pieces of that. I was just gonna say that fuck the Daily Telegraph.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Mm.
IC3 Joggers says the only true socialist societies are insects. Bees all know their own job and their place in that society. What happens to old or injured bees? They are thrown out for the good of the hive.
What's
Interesting.
socialist about that? Honestly,
Yeah, well, yes, exactly.
yeah, actually, kind of a socialist society was supposed to actually look after those that are less able, shall we say? So, yeah, but
I kind of see where he's trying to come from, though.
yeah, I do, but I'm like, also, I just thought I'd have to make that point.
Yes, well, yes, exactly. Okay. Moving on, I think.
We got any happy stories this week?
There's a funny one that I'm ending with.
Okay, if I'm around by then, but I don't know if I will be.
Okay, fair enough. Right. Oh. He says the good of the many outweighs the good of the few.
Well, yeah.
That's true socialism. Pretty sure that's from Star Trek, The Wrath of Khan.
That is a Star Trek. Yeah, but I'd get into the more like deeper philosophical things behind socialism, but I just haven't got the spoons for it tonight. So
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I mean, I will admit to being a socialist. So you know that is my politics.
Yeah. So, yeah, next segment. This article is also from The Guardian. Ministers have no authority to withhold Mandelson vetting file, committees say. Group of MPs and peers in effect accuse government of failing to comply with Parliament's will over release of files. And there's a photo of Peter Mandelson there.
The Prince of Darkness himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what possessed Starmer to bring this man back? It really beggars belief. I mean, for whatever criticisms anyone wants to make of Jeremy Corbyn as Labour leader, and there are a few, even I've got a few of him, but the smartest thing he did was not have Mandelson anywhere around.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the TV satire thing, Spitting Image in the mid-90s, like had Mandelson's head on the body of a rattlesnake. That should say, tell you everything you need to know about this man.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, even Neil Kinnock, who kind of gave Mandelson his break, was like later on was like, I've created a monster.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, so.
I mean, I don't know. Well, this is all the work of this is not just Keir Starmer. This is what's his name? No, his name is the one who was fired recently. Morgan McSweeney.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was Morgan McSweeney who wanted Mandelson to be appointed, and Starmer just did his bidding, basically.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, it's well, you know, it was a stupid thing having Mandelson anywhere near, and it was like, like we know, it was well known that he'd been in contact with like Epstein after all the, was in with Epstein after all the stuff about Epstein was kind of already known.
Yeah.
And they thought it was a good idea to give this man a role.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, Mandelson is an interesting character. Believe it or not, I don't know if you know this, Mike. Mandelson in his youth was a communist. I don't know if you know this.
Yes,
I heard
that. Yeah.
Yeah, he was a. I mean, he was a member of like the. He was a member of like the Young Communist League or something. So it was like the youth part of the older Communist Party of Great Britain. So, okay, he was a tanky in his youth. But if anyone was like, shall we say, thoroughly converted away from that into sort of diehard neoliberal kind of active, it was Mandelson. But yeah, the man's like had how many scandals over the years. I think I think probably with the whole. I think to a lot of our, say, American viewers, they might have only just come across Mandelson recently as a sort of result of like his name being all over the Epstein files. But this man has been like in and out of like British politics for decades and has had so many scandals. It's like, why was this man brought back?
Exactly. I mean, his nickname was the Prince of Darkness, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
And he was fired from the cabinet twice.
Yeah.
So what made Morgan McSweeney think he was the ideal candidate? Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, Mandelson to me is the ultimate epitome of a man who's failed upwards his whole life, really.
Yeah, exactly.
But the thing is, man, I think the thing is, there was this thing, and I think this is one of the things I think where it comes to why Corbyn actually was kind of good was like, not bringing him back is Mandelson. Whether he did have dirt on a lot of Labour MPs or not, I don't know. But I think he certainly led a lot of people within the Labour Party to believe that he had stuff on them.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like where I think Corbyn was like, well, look, the guy was trying to mess with me for years and didn't have anything. So he obviously wasn't as powerful as people thought he was.
Yeah.
So, but that was the kind of, I think, reputation Mandelson had kind of had, is that he was the guy who knew everybody's dirty secrets.
Yeah, exactly.
and would take everyone down with him. But like, has he done that? Clearly not.
No, and of course he famously boasted that he did everything he could to try to undermine Corbyn every day.
Yeah. He wasn't the only one by a long shot, but yeah. I mean, most of the parliamentary Labour Party did that to Jeremy Corbyn, to be fair. So,
yeah, well, yeah, this is it. Anyway, the article goes on. A powerful parliamentary committee tasked with reviewing files relating to Peter Mandelson's appointment as US ambassador has revealed that the government is withholding its vetting file despite not having the authority to do so. In an extraordinary intervention, the Intelligence and Security Committee, ISC, has criticized the government over its handling of the release of the Mandelson-related papers and, in effect, accused ministers failing to comply with Parliament's will. In February, Parliament passed a motion known as a humble address, requiring the government to publicly release all papers relevant to Mandelson's appointment. The government has repeatedly said it will comply with the motion, which ordered that any documents that could be prejudicial to national security or international relations should first be reviewed by the ISC. Which begs the question, what has the government got to hide?
Yes. I mean, this is, you know, this is a huge sort of, this is a real, I mean, this was a huge test of the integrity of this Labour government that they've really failed on, because
Yeah.
really, if anything, I think they kind of got in on almost the fact that it was, you know, we had 14 years of utter corruption from the Conservative government, and we were hoping that whatever, I mean, even I was hoping that, even though I didn't have like much faith that Starmer was going to change much, I kind of thought we might have at least a little bit more honest government, but doesn't feel like it right now.
It's nice, isn't it, the quiet? It's nice, isn't it, with the adults back in the room?
Yeah. That was, which, I mean, to be honest, I was kind of almost was hoping for, just like, hey, we'd have the adults back in the room here, and it's like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it kind of feels, that's kind of why it's a letdown. It's like, how can I have such low expectations of a government and they still let me down?
Yeah, exactly. And in my opinion, Starmer should have resigned for this.
Yeah.
But instead, he scapegoated Morgan McSweeney and the other bloke, Ollie Robbins.
Yeah.
Who was it who said when posh people are in trouble, they fire the staff? I can't remember who said that, but there's a lot of truth in that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, his dad was a tool maker, don't you know?
Yeah. He is a tool.
Exactly. I mean, the only thing, like I said, the only thing I could kind of say about Starmer is that he's probably been, with his background, possibly the most working class leader of the Labour Party in quite some time. But yeah, it's the man's just a huge disappointment to me. He really is, because I didn't, like I said, I wasn't expecting much of it out of him, but I did somewhat expect at least some common sense.
Well, yeah, exactly.
And he's failed. He's utterly failed on even that. Yeah.
And I think he's disappointed a lot of people. But he said to the left, if you don't like the changes I've made to the party, the door is open and you can leave. And they did leave. And a lot of them joined the Green Party.
Yeah, well, he did. I see a lot of similarities essentially with kind of what Neil Kinnock did in the 1980s when he purged the left from the Labour Party. Yeah. He didn't necessarily kick everyone out, but he made it very, very difficult for them to operate within the Labour Party, to the point where a lot of the old militant tendency, they kind of all left in the early 90s and formed the Socialist Party, who are, now the Socialist Party are an irrelevance in British politics, quite frankly, but most of them are the old militant tendency, which was quite a significant faction within the Labour Party back in the day.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
But I mean, but Starmer essentially did to Momentum what Kinnock did to the militant tendency and a lot of the left within the Labour Party in the 1980s. He might not. He kicked quite a few out, but then also just made it really difficult for the rest of them to operate with, and kind of forced them to leave on their own.
Yeah, exactly. And let me know what you guys think in the comments below. So let's move on. Next segment. Let's move on. This is from BBC News. Faisal Islam, Burnham seeks to calm markets by committing to fiscal rules. What do you think of Andy Burnham?
I mean, sometimes he talks language I like to hear, but I don't have a lot of hope in him. I mean, it'd be an improvement over Starmer, but you know, I don't have a lot of hope in Burnham, even if he talks the talk at times.
Yeah. I mean, he's made a lot of promises that sound socialist, like bringing public services back into public hands.
Yeah.
For example.
I mean, he talks the talk. I'm not sure the man will walk the walk. I mean, I do think he would be a massive improvement over Starmer. I mean, and like I said, the other person who's, you know, obviously that might be the issue for Starmer is West Streeting, and West Streeting would definitely be more of the same. I think Burnham would be a marginal improvement. I'm still not convinced he would actually really change much.
Yeah, the problem is if he's going to stick to Rachel Reeves's fiscal rules, his hands will be tied.
Yeah,
he may have all the best intentions in the world,
but the reason why Burnham might be dangerous to Starmer if he becomes an MP is that Burnham kind of talks a talk that a very significant block of the Labour Party might like the way he talks, and it's like, I mean, Burnham's trying to appeal to like the unions, I think, and that's still a significant faction within the Labour Party. Although I've often referred to the trade unions affiliated with the Labour Party. It's like it is the ultimate abusive relationship where the Labour Party keep beating the fuck out of them, and they keep coming, and they keep coming back saying this time they've changed.
Yeah,
it is the epitome of an abusive relationship.
Yeah, well, yeah, this is it. And also, I'm pretty certain he said that he's not committing to rejoining the EU. So,
but that's an interesting thing in a sense, because it's like, I mean, I don't have sort of you are the history of like but at one time the main in the 70s or whatever, the main opposition to what was to become the EU actually came from the left.
Yeah.
It was, you know, it was people like Tony Benn and so on. And I mean, a lot of my issues with the EU are still based in that kind of thought process. I kind of know what the EU is a capitalist project. There's no two ways about that. But at the same time, I still look back on 10 years ago and think, I don't know that we made the right move there.
Well, this is it. We've shot ourselves in the foot.
Yeah, well, I mean, this land of milk and honey that Nigel Farage and Boris Johnson and others were promising us has not exactly materialised, and but I just see the way Britain's going now, and I see the people falling for the same bullshit again, and it's like,
yeah,
and it's a little scary frankly, right now.
Yeah, but I think because he's determined to stick to Reeves's fiscal rules, and because he's not committing to rejoining the EU, and also because he said he's going to back Shabana Mahmood's immigration changes, he's gone down in my estimation.
Yeah.
But apparently there's been I think it was a YouGov poll.
I think Burnham would be I think he'd be like one of those, I think to me, Burnham would be like a bit of like a Harold Wilson type, like a complete radical when in opposition and then completely status quo when in power. He'd be like a Harold Wilson type.
Yeah. Apparently, there's a YouGov poll that shows that if Andy Burnham becomes the Prime Minister, Labour have a better chance of beating Reform.
I'd agree with that. I would agree with that. I mean, really. I mean, I said, you mean the Greens are giving it to a certain extent, but there is, a lot of issues with, obviously funding but I think if there's people who can come out and change the nature of the debate within British politics, it would be great because and it could be changed from the left, I believe. I mean, unfortunately, look, I was quite interested when the whole Your Party project started, but once again, I see the same old crap on the left of it's so bloody People's Front of Judea.
Yeah.
But and I've seen it many times. I mean, I don't know if you know this, but I first got politically active over the Iraq War, and the first political party I joined was Respect.
Oh, yeah.
And well, yeah, exactly. A year or two into that, we had this massive sort of success at least where we gave, at least in a couple of places, we gave the Labour Party a bloody nose in the mid-2000s, and then suddenly realised that we actually couldn't really hold George Galloway accountable, and he was just going to do whatever the fuck he wanted to do. And kind of starting with his appearance on Celebrity Big Brother, and all that stuff. But again, there was splits, and some of it, like I said, is so damn People's Front of Judea on the left, that it is the sectarianism on the left has been our biggest thorn in our side. The only saving grace is that those on the more further to the right do have their own issues with sectarianism. We've seen with Reform UK that if anyone threatens to upstage Farage, he's example, he fell out, he couldn't get along with Rupert Lowe. Rupert Lowe started his own party, and can I just say, and I didn't really want to talk about Southampton Football Club because we're kind of a national disgrace at the moment. But Rupert Lowe is the former chairman of Southampton Football Club, and I can tell you this now: if he runs if people look at the way he run a football club and think that he's he's a good guy to run a country, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
I mean, a guy who took a Premier League club and they got relegated 2 divisions and ended up in administration under his watch, and
Yeah.
they think this jackass can be trusted with the economy. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, back to the Andy Burnham story.
Yeah, so that was a tangent, I know, but
fair enough. Greater Manchester Mayor Andy Burnham has committed to sticking to the government's existing borrowing limits, known as its fiscal rules, and the markets appear to have reacted. In recent weeks, Burnham has suggested that the rules might be changed, for example, by exempting rises in defence spending, as has occurred in Germany, to allow for extra spending. Then on Friday, UK borrowing costs rose amid the possibility of him winning the Makerfield by-election and then a Labour leadership election, as well as global tumult. However, on Monday, the Burnham campaign confirmed to BBC News that changing the fiscal rules was no longer an option. A former minister and Burnham backer said, "He is committed to the rules as they are. It is totally essential. He understands the cost of borrowing is a huge constraint on government." That same day, UK 10-year gilt yield, a measure of the effective interest rate on a 10-year loan to government, fell back, something attributed to Burnham's attempt to calm markets. So this is the thing. This is why he's doing this, isn't it? He's trying to calm the markets.
Yeah.
But unfortunately,
which kind of tells you he's not exactly a radical who's looking to upset the apple cart here too much.
Yeah, exactly. And I think because he's insisting on sticking to these fiscal rules, he's going to have his hands tied. He won't be able to do the things I think he genuinely wants to do.
Yeah, I think unfortunately that it sometimes this is the kind of the problem in. It's almost in a sense it's a bit of an issue with like reformist politics in a way that you are working with within a system that isn't really on your side and is trying to change that. But on the other hand, like the revolutionary alternative isn't that appealing either. So it's but I mean it does kind of tell you in a way that I don't think Burnham's looking to upset things too much. But I think I do remember the famous journalist Paul Foote. He was giving a talk about Ramsay MacDonald, like one of the first Labour prime ministers, and who talked about this gradual change towards socialism. And as Paul Foote said, it says, "We saw an awful lot of gradual, not a lot of change."
Yeah, exactly. So, it's going to be interesting to see, first of all, if Andy Burnham wins the Makerfield by-election. And then secondly, if he's going to be able to...
I would hope if I was going to root for a Labour guy to win it, Burnham would be cool. I don't want Reform to win it. I mean, preferably, I like the Green Party to come in there and upset and really throw a spanner into the works. But
we'll see. And whether he'll be able to make any real changes remains to be seen. Even if he does win, and even if he does win the leadership contest. But again, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Okay, I think we've got one more story,
Okay.
and it's quite an interesting one.
Okay.
This is the "and finally" story. Here we go. This story is from LBC. Revealed, newly elected Reform councillor's double life as an online porn star. Reform has shown support for the councillor, saying what consenting adults do in their private lives is their own business. The bio on Councillor Mousdale's OnlyFans account describes him as a gay porn star and DJ, while on X he describes himself as having size 8 feet, boasting about the size of his manhood and encouraging people to get in touch to collab. What do you think of this?
Where do we begin? I mean, I kind of agree with like the whole what adults do, you know, in their own private life, as long as it's between consenting adults and not affecting anyone else. I kind of agree with, but it also is like, bear in mind that probably Reform are not the kind of people that are going to, shall we say, leave consenting adults alone to their devices if they were to ever get into power. Yeah, it's a weird one, this, isn't it?
Yeah, and the thing is, Reform, they're supposed to be a traditional family values, Christian political party. And yet they've got this councillor who has a double life as an OnlyFans gay porn star. Now, I have nothing against that. What he chooses to do in his private life, good for him. You've got to make that bank. Okay, and sex work is work. But
agreed.
But I just think it's a bit odd for Reform to be welcoming him into their party, and I honestly think that they could lose voters over this.
Please tell me that Lee Anderson is subscribed to this for 30p a month.
Yeah. Puts a whole new complex on the nickname 30p Lee, doesn't it?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think just like, we got any good puns in the comments, anyone? I don't, no one yet, but yeah, it's just it's a bizarre story in a sense, I suppose. But I mean, like I said, it's yeah, you kind of think, bear in mind most of the reforms based that this would be sort of frowned upon within their ranks, but
yeah, you'd think so, wouldn't you?
Mm. And like I said, I've got no issue with a guy, someone, making money off of OnlyFans or whatever. I don't have an issue with that. But like I said, as long as it's like consenting adults or whatever, I really don't care.
Yeah. But I've got a feeling quite a lot of Reform voters would care.
Yeah, probably. It's well, I think maybe it just goes to show what I've been thought all along. A lot of Reform voters are wankers. So,
well, this is it. Yeah. The article goes on. Stephen Mousdale, a newly elected councillor for Haydock and St Helens, features in an extensive catalogue of gay porn videos under the alias Lachlan Taylor UK, with videos online appearing to show him engaging in sex acts, seemingly in public. One video shows him wearing a grey baseball cap with his trousers down and another man performing oral sex on him while Councillor Mousdale keeps watch by looking over his shoulder.
okay, well, at least he was wearing a hat, so he wasn't totally naked.
You can keep your hat on.
Yeah. Yeah. What
There
to
he
say?
is. Yeah. There's the candidate announcement poster anyway.
Yeah, I'm gonna say even if I was inclined to go gay, I don't think I would. I don't think I'd be inclined with that guy.
Although there is no suggestion of criminal wrongdoing, common law states that carrying out a sexual act in public could constitute outraging public decency, which is a criminal offence. Another video posted on X shows Councillor Mousdale lying on a bed with two other naked men and engaging in sexual activity, while others show him having sex under a banner of Northern Lads.
So he was bottom bitch, basically.
Yeah. Yes. And there's a photo, I'm guessing a still photo taken from one of the videos that we've been talking about.
Yeah.
Stephen Mousdale features in an extensive catalogue of gay porn videos under the alias of Lachlan Taylor UK. Picture social media. The bio on Councillor Mousdale's OnlyFans account describes him as a gay porn star and DJ, while on X he describes himself as having size 8 feet, boasting about the size of his manhood and encouraging people to get in touch to collab. I wonder if any Reform voters will get in touch.
You do realise that we should look at his OnlyFans page now, just to to finish the stream off. You do realise that we should do this.
Oh, I don't want to get blocked by YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I was say that would there would be your there would go your chances of ever getting monetized, I'm sure. But yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But, you know,
exactly.
Hey, well, if there's hope for that guy to make money on OnlyFans, then maybe there's even hope for me. You know, so you know, although the last time I was anybody's type, I was giving blood. So,
oh right, okay.
Yeah.
Councillor Mousdale was elected last week as a councillor in the Haydock ward, winning 1,331 votes as Reform romped to victory. Nigel Farage's party
I love the romp. I love to have get the romps in there as well. I kind of like that.
Yeah. Nigel Farage's party won 34 of the 48 seats available, having previously had no representation whatsoever. A Reform UK spokesman told LBC, while Councillor Mousdale's lifestyle choices may not be to everyone's taste, he has not broken the law. What consenting adults do in their private lives is their own business.
Okay, well, God help us if we ever get a Reform government, but definitely those are words that need to be held to account, because held up, because I don't think they're the kind of people who are going to not butt out of people's private lives if they were to ever have the power.
Yeah. Yeah. The electorate were fully aware of Councillor Mousdale's lifestyle choices weeks before the election and still decided to elect Stephen as their councillor. Councillor Mousdale is an asset to his local community, even receiving the St Helens Mayor's Good Citizen Award for his services to the borough. St Helens Council have been approached for comment. Councillor Mousdale has been approached for comment.
Services to the borough, I've never quite heard it put that way before, but
yeah. So yeah, this is an interesting story, very interesting, and I'll be watching his career with particular interest.
Yeah. Well, this does sound like the Palpatine moment. We shall watch your career with great interest.
Yes, I thought you might get that reference.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yes, that's yeah, and on that bombshell.
Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Yeah. Spooky Bedhair says, please don't scare the horses.
Yeah. So
yeah, that wraps everything up. Thank you for joining me, Jeff. That was great.
Oh, it's good. It's good. It's been a long time, mate. It's been a long time. It's good to jump on here, and although I might have to, I might just have to like watch some like female porn on like Pornhub now to get the image of that last story out of my head. I don't know, So.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't think I'm that tempted to subscribe to the guy's OnlyFans account, but
I might do, but just for research purposes, you understand.
It could be one of those things that it could be a bloody goldmine for content. You never know. It could be an absolute goldmine for content.
Yeah. Spooky is saying, cheers, guys. Jeff is the new store for show.
I don't know if that's a compliment or not, actually, because no, I love Stall the Bits, but I don't know if that's a good. I don't know if I'd call that a compliment or not. I'll take it. It's a backhanded compliment at best.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But anyway, thanks to everyone for tuning in. And if you are new, do subscribe and see you next time. Okay, bye for now.
Salute.